Right. Hello, it is Sarah Boothby, Sojourn Psychology, and I'm here with Dr. Gina Wong, who is a longtime Edmonton psychologist as well. She is heading up an amazing campaign called the Asian Gold Ribbon Campaign. So Gina, can you tell us a little bit about what this campaign is all about, what it's doing for the people in our community?
You bet. Hi, Tara. Nice to be on here. So the Asian Gold Ribbon campaign, I started it about 9 weeks ago. So it's really early on, grassroots, nonprofit organization. And basically, really our mission is to galvanize communities, individuals, organizations to stand in visible solidarity against anti-Asian racism and to celebrate the Asian culture and to learn not just about fighting against anti-hate, but also about celebrating and generating pride in being Asian. So kind of a combination of the two.
Yes, and very, very important for Edmontonians, but also just Canadians. And also this campaign is reaching into other countries is what I've seen. So how, I guess for you, that's got to be pretty exciting to notice how the community is just really responding well.
It's been amazing. And I have co-founder Gina Wong, who joined about 2 weeks when I started. I told her that I wanted to go global. I wanted this to be international. She kind of laughed and she said, Gina, let's just try North America. And I said, okay, but let's just see. And it turns out, we've had 80 countries who have, clicked on our website and shown interest and engaged with us, and something like 32 million. And then the inaugural East Asian Youth Summit that we had on May 20th, which was Asian Gold Ribbon Day, there were 11 countries, like attendees representing 11 countries. And there were about 100, approximately, who registered. So we thought this was pretty phenomenal and amazing. We also had Samuel L. Jackson and Andrew Fung, so actors supporting our campaign, and then right to like government officials, Human Rights Commissioner of Canada, the Minister of Equity, Diversity and Youth, joined in our East Asian Youth Summit. So it's been phenomenal. And I have to say that I think it was really just the right time. And, my passion for sure, and the people that I met throughout that really grew this to the potential that it became. And of course, we're sustaining as a campaign, as a movement. We're going to be doing this. We've got our next event, planned, and kind of our, 5-year mission strategy planning that we're doing. So we're here to stay and talk about, a great initiation. And, it's never made me more proud to see the level of interest from people across Canada and, places around the world.
Yes, it's so exciting. And anybody who knows you, Gina, it's just not a surprise to see you doing so well and really taking such a risk to build this amazing initiative. And it's so important. And you're right, it is so timely. And then, so where can people find out more about the Asian Gold Ribbon campaign, like social media, or where would you recommend?
Social media for sure, because, visibility right now, we can't do face-to-face or live face-to-face or whatever the term would be. So, hashtag Asian Gold Ribbon or at Asian Gold Ribbon. And then, of course, our website, asiangoldribbon.com, which we were so fortunate to have the most amazing webmaster. Like, she's created this website that, looks like it's been around for years and very, very well done. So, hats off to her and the many people, like I said, that I met in this process.
That's amazing. And I guess too, for you, Gina, how do you notice this campaign? Like, what's it doing for you, for the people closest to you in your community? How do you see this taking pride and culture impacting?
Well, for me, it's been from the start a journey of self-discovery. I talked in, many of the interviews that I did and some of the panels and, even just in my personal sphere about the racism that I endured growing up, which I never talked about. I have one piece that I kind of published about, but there are many, many instances that I never shared out loud. And so it was interesting to talk about these experiences, and to a public front. So was in some ways my own reprocessing of that. And, I shared as well that I never thought of saying the term, I'm a proud Asian Canadian woman. And when I was trying to say that, I realized, I wasn't able to say it very easily because I never thought about it. And two, I didn't know if I actually felt that way. And through, over time, just voicing my own experiences and meeting the people that I have and learning more about my own culture. Like I didn't even know what my Chinese name meant, so those kinds of things. So it's been a lot of reclaiming for myself to a point now where I can proudly say, I'm a very proud Chinese Asian Canadian woman. And for those around me too. So, my greatest impetus for this all along have been my children. So my two daughters who are biracial, wanting them to not go through the same experiences that I did when I was young and when I was their age, grappling with, my identity and, the way that Asians were treated. And so, my daughter Cassie, who just turned 18, she was involved. She was a panelist on the youth summit that we had. And then Iris, who's my other daughter out living in BC, she created the designer pin. So the crane over moon pin, that was her way of being involved. And, all along the way, they've been super supportive. And, we've been talking throughout their life about pride and being who they are and some of those things. But, I also interviewed Catherine Ho. And so she sang the Mandarin version of Yellow for Crazy Rich Asians, which was a movie my daughters and I adore. And so from California, I interviewed her over Zoom, and she's just amazing. And we talk about, how that movie helped us think more about our pride and what it meant for her and where she is now in life. And so that was incredible too, kind of those opportunities that I got to have. And, my son, my stepson, who is not Asian, was really involved and very supportive, which I don't know why, but surprised me a little bit. And, was advocating and, wearing everything and is so supportive. So, those around me, I think, were affected in very positive ways, myself, included. So it's been, and it's not a journey that's ended. It's a continued one, I think, for all of us.
That's really beautiful to share. And I hear what I believe of you, Gina, because I know you love all things attachment as well. So it's lovely to hear you speak about yourself and your family. And hopefully that is what the Asian Gold Ribbon campaign can do for families and for culture to bring pride. Pride is an important word for so many people groups.
Yes.
And I love that story. And I have to say, Crazy Rich Asians, I love the soundtrack. When you brought that up, it's so good. It's so good.
I love it too. Yeah. And, so these are positive experiences, but I've also had some not so positive experiences. And I knew that, when you talk about the risk to do this, I knew that there would be some, but I wasn't exactly sure how or when it would pop up. And so, I have some experiences where I've gone into organizations or corporations to do, a presentation on anti-Asian racism and actually, experienced a racial slur being uttered, and, another group where the one participant in particular was not at a point of development, I think, to hear this information. So actually took offense to, some of the statistics that I know to be true and actually underreported. And there, those were really difficult points for me. But at the same time, I think, working through those, having my supports and talking with those organizations and recognizing so much more of the work that needs to be done, not just for, the individuals who, were the direct ones that were involved, but, leaders don't necessarily know how to manage when something like that happens, and how to, have the cultural sensitivity. And so, I saw my role as, moderating that as much as I could and advocating for myself and, for this whole cause. So the challenges themselves have really shown to me the importance of this campaign, and that it isn't easy work, but it's so important to do. So important to do. So.
It is very, very important. And thank you for sharing that uncomfortable story as well, because it's normalizing, and it's helpful for other people who face those situations, and how uncomfortable to be put in a position where you're the one that has to speak up and say this isn't okay.
Yes, yes. Well, in the whole aspect of white fragility, it's, trying to understand where people are coming from in terms of being able to integrate this understanding with their own sense of themselves, and the care that needs to be taken, but also that work so needs to be done. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And just to notice white fragility, and my own experience with white fragility is, I think that as what I've heard in some cultural conversations, people take that as a slight or an offense, but actually noticing our white fragility, or whatever our piece is, that the unknowing about others, it's our access point in.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to understand each other's experience, because it's not a thing. So there's this piece of saying, hey, look at Gina being proud, and look at Tara being proud, and can we notice how to share space and admire each other's strengths? So
I think that's so important. And I would also say, it's not just white fragility, because we know that, many racialized individuals and groups also have, certain unconscious biases and, things that, myself, I'm the first to say I have lots of unconscious biases that I need to still unearth and figure out and see. And I'm sure it affects, ways that I might not know, and making assumptions. So I think that, fragility for all of us, and maybe taking that stance, like, oh no, I would never do that. I think many, not just white people, take that stance, and there's a sensitivity all around that's needed for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And I do love this term, unconscious bias. I think that's really powerful. And the word that comes to mind is nirvana. Like there's this steady pace of uncovering and realizing what we don't know about ourselves or about others. And that's so much of what all of these beautiful initiatives are. And the Asian Gold Ribbon campaign is a beautiful initiative, and there's many ways to find out: social media, hashtags, the @symbols, and then the website, which I'll put in the link below.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and thank you. Anything else you'd like to say before we wind things down, Gina?
I don't think so. You've covered great, and thank you for letting me come in and share. So it's a great production that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina, and thank you for all you do for the Edmonton psychology community, for the academic psychology community at Athabasca University. Like, you are such an amazing long-term pillar, I would say, of our community, and I thank you so much for all you've done to build into so many psychologists.
Oh, that's very humbling. Thank you, Tara.
I mean it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Please do take notice of this campaign. And actually, their masks and the pins are really beautiful. So if you need some swag, it's all for a good cause and for a great visibility. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Tara. Bye for now.